thrift store and out of the closet in West Hollywood, and I was, there were kids in the audience, but you know, I was curious for some like theoretical knowledge. And I felt that I was behind in the curriculum, so I like studied this book.
I don't know.
I'm like the kind of girl who thinks that she could learn karate from a book. Like,
I should have asked about the age limit here, because you really go into things in the book that helped me so much. And we talked about it in the green room, and it feels so mean not to say that there's a quote that I have to read because it really struck me. And you said it to a boyfriend you had at the time. And it was 3 months ago. I was terrified as being outed as a virgin freak. Now I'd had sex with all but one person, and somehow I was getting slut-shamed. I don't know about most of the women in the audience, but I've definitely had a boyfriend that I have like wanted to have sex with and thought is so handsome and gorgeous, and at some point they've been like, it's kind of gross how you do that. And you talked about it, and I was like, oh my God, I remember that. And I wondered, like, how did you kind of walk through that?
I mean, it took me a little while, and I didn't have a boyfriend, that's a euphemism, but I didn't have another experience for like a year after that, because I was like, is that what's gonna happen? Like, you know, because we're all aware, like culturally, of the idea that, you know, women are supposed to be like kind of sexually available or interesting, but then like if you do have sex with them, then it's like, oh well, they got everything they wanted, and now they're, you know. So I was aware of these dynamics, but I had never experienced it personally. And since that happened on my first experience, I was like, okay, so is it always going to be like that? Like, it's you want something, and then when you have it, like you're like, oh good, I'm good, that's actually never mind. I think it was just a matter of like starting to hang out with less shitty people, and you know, I don't know if it's because I've been making better choices of who I'm interacting with, or if it is just a product of getting a little bit older, and you know, men and women maybe both getting over certain you know, standard issues. But I have had great experiences more recently, so I get mine. So I don't know, like I still, you know, and that guy and I are still friends, and like we've kind of talked about it, but not entirely. Like I think he got over that, but I think that was, you know, we talk about toxic masculinity being something it's bad for women and it's bad for men too, and maybe that was just something that he thought he was supposed to want. You know, he was supposed to want someone who, like, either was or at least could feign like sexual innocence or something. And maybe that's something that he just got over too. I think.
Well, it sounds like it, and the fact that you were able to talk to him about it, which I think is something when it happened to me, you know, many years ago in that way, I didn't say anything. Right. I was just like and shrivel, right?
Yeah.
And that I love that you almost gave a framework, like of like, guys, this is what we can say to these men who aren't evil.
Yeah.
That maybe if we have a conversation about it, we can like work through it a bit.
I did write some awful poetry about it. That really helped.
They should be in the footnotes.
It's been carefully like acid bleached, run over a truck. There's no computer hard drive that has evidence of it. I've been very careful. It's not bad.
So let's go back to when you were 16 and you were in this